Can somebody tell me how a broke-ass kid just trying to make some money goes from this?
I'll give you 100 yen if you swallow the cigarette.
Whoa, you will? Alrighty, down the hatch this sucker goes.
To this?
I won't know a damn thing!
First of all, if you didn't know, Chainsaw Man is a pretty gory show about survival, and our main character Denji is a teenager who gets entangled with the freaking Yakuza and has to work his ass off to pay his father's debt. However, everything changes after a job goes terribly wrong. This series isn't your typical happy-go-lucky shonen, it's really, really dark as hell. But hey, if it wasn't worth it, I probably wouldn't be talking about it. So, with that out of the way, this is the entire story of Chainsaw Man, so far. Episode 1 is called Dog and Chainsaw, and it starts off with our main character Denji dreaming of a back alley with a mysterious door, always just out of reach. Before he can open it, he wakes up to reality, a life full of poverty, a life so bleak it makes the nightmare look cozy by comparison. He remembers that he's got bills to pay, so he heads out to work for the Yakuza. And speaking of bills, this kid has so much debt to pay that he's had to sell off his kidney, his right eye, and even one of his testicles.
Sold one of my nuts, too. How much did they go for again? Not even 100K, I think.
And yet, after all that sacrifice, he still owes a mountain of debt, and we're talking 38 million yen. That is crazy. His only companion in life is Pochita, a tiny devil dog with a chainsaw blade sticking out of its head. Now, that's definitely weird, so let me explain something about it. Devils are supernatural entities born from the fears of human beings. For example, the more people fear a tsunami, at some point a tsunami devil may appear. So in this case, Pochita is a chainsaw devil, and a pretty handy one at that. Every now and then, the Yakuza sends Denji on such risky errands like hunting and killing these devils to pay off his debt. Whenever Pochita barks, it means it's devil hunting time, and for Denji, it means another paycheck. We see them come across the Tomato Devil, a grotesque monster that looks like a giant vegetable with hunger issues. It honestly kinda reminds me of the cursed spirits in JJK. Anyway, using Pochita as a weapon, Denji cuts down the monster and thinks he's finally earned a good payout. But when the Yakuza boss is done taking fees, interest, and whatever else he can skim off the top, Denji's left with scraps. Barely enough to even buy bread.
For dinner tonight, let's go full-on carbivore and split a slice of bread, okay?
And the Yakuza guys love treating Denji like garbage. One of them even bets 100 yen to swallow his cigarette. As gross as that sounds, Denji actually downs it like a champ, but then spits it out later when no one's looking. Ugh, this kid's life sucks more than anything I've ever seen. Later at night, Denji sits with Pochita in their shack, chewing on plain bread and dreaming of luxuries like jam, video games, and even a girlfriend.
If dreams do come true, then before I croak, I want to be with a girl.
Dreams that sound simple but feel impossibly far away. He remembers the crushing weight of debt inherited from his father's suicide and the Yakuza's threats to dismember him if he doesn't pay up what his father owes him. For this kid, it feels like no matter what he does, he's already living on borrowed time. The next day, Denji is led to an abandoned warehouse. The Yakuza boss, pretending to reward his loyalty, suddenly turns on him. We then get the revelation that the Yakuza struck a deal or contract with the zombie devil, trading their humanity for power. Don't worry, you'll learn more about this contract thingy as the story progresses. Anyway, out of nowhere, a zombified Yakuza dude stabs Denji right in the back with a longsword that also rips through Pochita. Denji struggles to escape, but he loses so much blood and ends up falling to the ground. The other zombie-like Yakuza quickly catch up, and in an execution so brutal the drug cartels would blush, Denji and Pochita get hacked to pieces and tossed in the trash. Yeah, our MC is dead, and we aren't even done with the first episode. As Denji's blood seeps into Pochita's mouth, the dogs suddenly sees flashes of their life together, cutting down trees, scraping by, and just chilling, sharing tiny dreams and so on. Denji once told Pochita that if he ever died, the little devil could take over his body and live a normal life. Yeah, their bond is really something special. I love it. And so in that moment, right there in the dumpster, Pochita makes the choice to fuse with Denji instead. Not to take, but to give. He becomes Denji's new heart, ensuring the boy's dreams don't end in the trash.
Here's a new contract for you. This time you're getting my heart. In exchange, show me your dreams. That's all I ask of you.
So, a few minutes later, Denji wakes inside the dumpster, alive, but changed. A pull cord, which used to be Pochita's tail, now sticks out of his chest. When the zombies swarm him, he yanks it, and his body explodes into something new. His head and his arms transform into roaring chainsaws. And the slaughter that follows is pure carnage. Denji revs through the zombie horde, cutting down everything in sight with an evil laugh to boot. The zombie devil tries to hold him back, even throwing minions at him like cannon fodder. But Denji is relentless. He leaps at the monster and tears it apart, hacking through the remaining Yakuza turned zombies until nothing is left. For the first time, the Devil Hunter is free, no debt, no masters, just a boy with a chainsaw head and a mountain of bodies behind him. By morning, the factory is silent and completely painted with blood. That's when Makima, a public safety devil hunter, immediately notices Denji still standing amidst the wreckage, part human and part devil. Instead of fear, she offers him something no one else ever has: stability, food, and a place where he belongs.
For the record, my pets get delicious food.
Denji, exhausted and starved, doesn't need much convincing. The promise of a real breakfast is enough to seal his fate. In the next episode, titled Arrival in Tokyo, Denji's new life starts with a car ride and a stomach growl. The kind that screams poverty louder than words ever could. Riding in the car with Makima, he quickly learns that she isn't just kind and pretty, she's also terrifying. She makes it clear that from now on, he is basically her pet, only allowed to answer with yes or woof. Denji, who once thought she was an angel, realizes she's got a little devil in her after all.
Here I was thinking she was sweet. Hell, I even liked her a little. Who knew she'd turn out to be so scary?
Still, she buys him food and hands him a coat. And for a guy who's never been treated decently in his life, that's basically a marriage proposal. By the time she feeds him soggy udon noodles at a rest stop, Denji is head over heels in love. Forget fighting devils, this boy is ready to risk his life for a girl who feeds him noodles. When they reach Tokyo, Denji is still daydreaming about Makima's answer to a question he asked about what kind of guy she likes.
Currently, I'm into Denji-type boys.
She told him he likes Denji types, which might be the smoothest manipulation in anime history. Denji's brain is fried on pure puppy love, but reality hits pretty quick. When they get to the Devil Hunter HQ, Makima dumps him on a coworker, Aki Hayakawa, for his first day on the job. Denji wants Makima, but instead he gets Aki, a tall, serious guy who immediately drags him into an alley and beats him up like it's initiation day. Aki warns him that devil hunters without real motivations always die early. Denji shamelessly admits he's in it for Makima, and Aki just about loses his mind. Denji responds in the only way Denji knows how, by kicking Aki straight in the nuts. Not once, not twice, repeatedly.
It's nuts or nothing!
Yikes! You'd think a guy with a missing testicle wouldn't go below the belt. Denji even explains it like a philosopher. When men fight men, the real target is always the groin. Somewhere, Sun Tzu is rolling in his grave. The two knuckleheads stagger back to Makima, bruised and battered. Denji blames a made-up nut devil for Aki's injuries, while Aki hisses through his teeth that it's a lie. Makima, in her usual terrifyingly calm way, decides they'll work together anyway. She explains Denji's condition, part devil, part human, and that he's now in a special unit. And if he tries to quit, they'll put him down like a rabid dog. Denji can barely process this information because Makima is standing really close, fixing his tie, and he's already writing their wedding vows in his head. Denji ends up moving in with Aki and makes himself at home by using every flavor of jam on one piece of bread, and generally driving Aki insane with his messiness.
Wow, 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 wow.
Finish it up in there!
Things get even messier when Denji goes on his first fiend mission. By the way, a fiend is basically a devil-possessed corpse. Aki expects Denji to go full chainsaw monster, but Denji just uses an axe to finish the job cleanly. Why? Because he didn't want to get blood on the dirty magazines lying nearby. Aki thinks Denji is a reckless idiot. Denji thinks Aki is a stick in the mud. And both are kind of right. For Denji though, something feels missing. He's already got food, a bed, and a roof over his head, which were once impossible dreams, but now he wants more. Then suddenly, it hits him. His new life isn't complete until he fulfills the most sacred dream of all, touching a girl's chest.
The goal to give my life purpose is melons!
As in the fruit?
Idiot! At least try to pay attention.
No, oh, okay, I get it. That's it. That's his North Star. The chainsaw of destiny has been pulled for chest-related purposes. Anyway, Makima, being the master manipulator she is, throws another curveball. Denji is getting a new partner, and not just any partner, a fiend named Power. Power bursts onto the scene like a chaotic hurricane with horns, blood powers, and a love for smashing things. Denji, at first skeptical about working with a fiend, immediately changes his tune when he notices her chest. Suddenly, he's the most cooperative teammate in Japan.
I guess it's fine. Great to meet ya!
Makima warns that their new team, called Special Division 4, will be dissolved if they don't produce tangible results, and Power immediately demands that Denji give her something to kill. When the duo finally spot a devil, Power doesn't hesitate. She leaps off a building, creates a massive hammer out of her own blood, and absolutely obliterates the sea cucumber devil right in front of horrified bystanders. It's messy, it's bloody, and it's everything Power loves. Denji, meanwhile, realizes his new partner is even more unhinged than he is, and hopefully, that's not such a bad thing. The next episode is called Meowie's Whereabouts, and we pick up right after Power's little splatter art moment with the sea cucumber devil. And surprise, surprise, she's already in trouble. While the cleanup crew scrubs down her mess, Makima gives her the kind of lecture that feels less like discipline and more like disappointment from your mom. Turns out, killing a devil assigned to a civilian hunter, which was the case with the sea cucumber devil, is technically obstruction, and under normal circumstances, Power would be arrested. Makima warns her to think before acting and tells Denji to keep her in check, which is hilarious because Denji is barely capable of keeping himself in check. Then, Power immediately throws Denji under the bus and says he was the one who ordered her to go.
The one who commanded me to kill was this cur!
You liar!
Yeah, girl has problems. A little later, Denji buys himself a drink from a vending machine and feels like he's living the dream. Power, meanwhile, is busy petting a stray cat. She opens up to Denji, saying she only likes cats and hates both humans and devils. The reason is simple. A devil once kidnapped her beloved pet, Meowie. She explains that Meowie is everything to her, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to get the cat back. Denji, of course, thinks risking it all for a cat is stupid, unless it were a dog. Power sees her opening though, and promises that if Denji helps her save Meowie, she'll let him touch her boobs. And just like that, Denji is more fired up than he's ever been as a devil hunter.
As a devil hunter, I say no! I'll murderize him. Straight kill the out of that asshole!
Not for duty, not for justice, but for the promise of second base. The duo soon secure clearance from the Devil Hunter HQ to head out. On the road, Power casually mentions that Denji will have to do all the fighting because the devil holding Meowie will probably use the cat as a shield if she's around. Denji tries to bond with her, talking about how Pochita the devil dog lives on in his heart. Power calls that sentimental garbage and basically dunks on his feelings, saying humans are fools for comforting themselves with lies. Denji decides not to argue, mostly because he kinda realizes that he and Power will most likely never get along. Meanwhile, Makima is having a little chat with the higher-ups. They ask about her squad, and she says one member looks promising while the other is simply interesting. They warn her not to get attached to her rookies and remind her that other countries are already weaponizing devils. Later, in the car, Aki tells her that Denji is disgusting and questions why she's even interested in the kid. Makima breaks it down. Devils gain power based on the fear attached to their names. For example, a coffee devil would be considered kinda weak, but a car devil would be terrifying, since getting hit by a car is a very common fear.
And the more a devil's name is feared by the world, the more powerful it becomes.
Denji, however, can turn into a chainsaw devil, and Makima finds that very, very interesting. Back with Denji and Power, they finally reach a house in the countryside where the devil holding Meowie lives. Denji starts getting suspicious. Didn't she say earlier that the devil would use Meowie as a shield if she's present? And if that's true, shouldn't she keep her distance? Before he can piece it together, Power smacks him with a blood hammer, knocking him out cold before dragging him inside. Turns out, our girl Power made a deal with the devil, the Bat Devil to be precise. She promised him a human meal in exchange for Meowie. Inside, we see the Bat Devil, a massive creature missing an arm. Power hands Denji over, fulfilling her promise. The Bat Devil drinks Denji's blood to heal, but finds it disgusting and throws him away. The devil's arm does regenerate though, and now he's hungry for fresh prey. Power reminds him of their deal and asks for Meowie back, but the Bat Devil cruelly swallows the cat instead. Power can only watch in horror. Her entire reason for betraying Denji? Gone in one bite. In a flashback, we see how Power and Meowie first met. She found the poor cat starving and barely alive. At first, she thought of raising the cat only so she could eat her later, but somewhere along the way, she grew helplessly attached. Back in the present, watching Meowie disappear into the Bat Devil's stomach, Power finally starts to understand Denji's grief over Pochita.
Earlier you said you'd never pet Pochita again. I sympathize with you now. 'Tis a dreadful feeling.
But before she can even process it, the Bat Devil swallows her too. Dinner and dessert in one go. And just when Bat Devil is about to take to the skies, Denji snaps back up. He's clinging to the Bat Devil's leg, chainsaw cord ready, and snarls that the bastard better give him his promised boobs back. Yeah, Denji's an idiot. Mid-air, he transforms into the Chainsaw Man, and suddenly, the fight is on. The Bat Devil thinks Denji's just another meal, but Denji's slicing him to ribbons. He even saves random bystanders mid-battle, though our MC insists it's not because he cares about saving people. It's just that he's not about to let a devil mess with his new goonish dream.
I don't give a about this guy! Not
Finally, Denji disembowels the Bat Devil in a spectacularly messy finish, proving once and for all, never underestimate the sheer, unstoppable power of teenage hormones. The next episode is called Rescue. Power wakes up in the middle of the mess, Meowie in her arms, Denji holding both of them, and the Bat Devil's guts decorating the place like party streamers. She's confused as hell. Why would Denji save her after she betrayed him? Denji, being Denji, just points at her chest. Power thinks that that's the stupidest reason to risk your life, but feeling guilty, she decides to keep her promise. Since Meowie is safe, she'll let him cop a feel. Denji's face lights up like Christmas morning, only for his arm to get blown off mid-celebration. Talk about terrible timing. Enter the Leech Devil, who picks up his severed arm like it's a Snickers bar and eats it right in front of him. Power can't move, so she tells Denji to take Meowie and run. But Denji, low on blood and only able to summon a sad little baby chainsaw from his forehead, decides to stay and fight. Why? Because his life goal involves boobs. And damn it, he's not dying until he achieves it. Hearing this, the Leech Devil calls it trash and basically starts dream-shaming him. And so, in peak shonen fashion, Denji challenges the monster to a dream battle. Oh, and by the way, the Leech Devil here also revealed that she and Bat Devil once shared a romantic dream of wiping out humanity together, which is kinda par for the course. And the simple rule for this dream challenge by Denji goes this way. If he beats her, it proves her dream was weaker than his. And if she beats him, she can do whatever the hell she wants. And honestly, that's the kind of dumb logic that makes Chainsaw Man so amazing. The fight itself is pure chaos. Denji dodges, throws punches, and even uses the Bat Devil's own intestines as a makeshift weapon to drag her down. He's fighting with sheer desperation, rage, and the power of horny determination. But eventually, the devil stabs him through the chest with her tongue. Just as she's about to finish him off, Aki shows up, looking all cool and composed. He summons the Fox Devil with his contract.
Comb.
She appears to be the leech devil. May I swallow?
Do it.
Don't worry, you'll be learning about this concept shortly, straight from the horse's mouth. Anyway, in one clean chomp, the Leech Devil's head is gone. Denji, meanwhile, wakes up in the hospital like it's just another Tuesday. His arm's been reattached thanks to a blood infusion. Aki uses this moment to briefly explain how Devil Hunter contracts work. You give up something and get something in return, kinda like how binding vows work in JJK. As for Aki, he gave the Fox Devil a little bit of his skin, but Denji doesn't care about all that lore. He's still daydreaming about power and her promise. Following preliminary investigation, it's revealed that Denji and Power had wandered off into unauthorized territory, and with the trail of Denji's blood found outside the house where the Bat Devil was chilling, Aki suspects that Power tried to kill Denji. But since Denji is playing dumb and there were no fatalities, Aki decides to cover for him, on one condition: Denji has to behave from now on. Denji agrees without question. Meanwhile, outside the hospital, Power is still waiting for her fate to be decided. Aki reluctantly lets her go, fully aware she's a walking headache but also a valuable fighter. Later that evening, Aki reports to Makima about the Bat and Leech Devils. Makima listens with her usual mysterious smile and points out that Aki's demeanor has been kind of softened.
I can't help but notice you seem more flexible these days. Makes me wonder if Denji's influence is responsible.
He denies it, of course, but we know Denji's chaos is already rubbing off on him. The next morning, Aki shows us his calm, normal life. Coffee, chores, curry prep, everything looks peaceful. And then, the peace explodes, with Power kicking down his door like she owns the place. Makima conveniently calls right after to say, "Oh, by the way, Power's living with you guys now. Have fun." Power instantly proves to be the world's worst roommate. She throws away veggies because she hates them, refuses to flush the toilet properly, and barely takes a bath. And when Denji and Aki yell at her, she thinks they're the weird ones. Later, while Denji is literally unclogging the toilet she ruined, Power casually decides it's time to pay her debt. She points to her chest and says he gets 3 squeezes, 1 for saving Meowie, 2 for killing the Bat Devil, and 3 for lying and protecting her from Aki.
She's an angel.
Denji can practically hear angelic choirs singing because his ridiculous dream is finally within reach. The following episode is called Gun Devil. So Denji finally gets what he's been chasing since day 1, a good old boob grab. However, something feels off. Turns out, Power had fluffy pads stuffed in her bra the whole time. She removes them and lets him try again. She then starts bragging about how amazing she must feel. Meanwhile, Denji just stands there in shock, realizing the dream he built his entire teenage existence on turned out to be terribly mid. Back at the Devil Hunter HQ, Makima notices something's up. Denji spills the tea, saying he finally touched a woman's chest, but it just didn't feel that great. And now he's wondering if life is just one big scam, that maybe the chase is better than the prize. Makima gently takes his hand and explains that such an intimate experience feels better the more you know your partner. She tells him to notice the small details, the warmth of their hand, the length of their fingers, even the shape of their ears.
Remember this so that even if you lost your vision, you'd still recognize me, just from how hard I bite.
What the F is going on here? Before Denji can even process what's happening, she places his hand on her chest. Completely overwhelmed, Denji malfunctions and falls over like a broken toy. Once he's recovered, Makima tells him she has an urgent request. She wants him to defeat the Gun Devil. 13 years ago, that monster appeared in America, surprise, surprise, and in just 5 minutes, it killed over 1 million people. It's the kind of monster that every devil hunter dreams of defeating. If Denji can kill it, Makima promises she'll grant him any wish. To explain why the Gun Devil is so dangerous, Makima gives him the backstory. After devils first appeared, people got so scared and started buying guns to defend themselves. More guns led to more violence, which made people even more scared of guns. Then, when a massive terrorist attack with guns shook America, the Gun Devil appeared. We also get a little more backstory about Aki, who lost his entire family to this damn devil, and he's been searching for it ever since. Makima goes on to explain that after the Gun Devil's devastating attack in America, fear of guns skyrocketed everywhere, which made the devil even stronger. To contain the damage, laws were passed banning guns and restricting media coverage on gun violence. Then, Makima shows Denji some bullets. These are pieces of the Gun Devil's flesh.
Apparently it's so fast, bits of its body burn off when it moves.
Apparently, when the Gun Devil moves too fast, chunks of its body get burned off. Any devil that eats these leftover pieces becomes stronger. And interestingly, the pieces are magnetically drawn back to the Gun Devil over time. Meanwhile, in some undisclosed location, Aki and the rest of Special Division 4 snag a fresh piece of the Gun Devil's flesh from a dead fish devil. Soon after, the team gets assigned a new mission. They suspect the devil might have eaten one of the Gun Devil's leftover pieces. Denji joins the squad, and when they arrive, Aki confirms that the piece they got from the fish devil is reacting magnetically to something in the hotel. Denji immediately jumps to the wild conclusion that the Gun Devil himself is chilling inside a random hotel lobby, but Aki shuts that down. If it were the Gun Devil in there, the magnetic reaction would be way stronger. Tensions flare before they even step inside. Hirokazu, an overly serious devil hunter, doesn't trust Denji or Power since they're not exactly human. But Aki basically says not to worry since they'll be used as devil bait anyway.
If either tries to run or double-cross us, then they die on the spot.
Boo, you're treating us like we're livestock.
'Cause you don't get human rights.
Himeno, a devil hunter with an eye patch, casually promises a kiss on the cheek to whoever kills the Gun Devil. Denji shrugs it off, saying he's already got someone in mind to kiss. But then, Himeno raises the stakes. She offers a French kiss if Denji kills the devil. Suddenly, Denji is more motivated than he's ever been in his life. He charges into the hotel like a madman, and Hirokazu panics, chasing after him. Turns out, Hirokazu's been crushing on Himeno too, and he's not about to let Denji steal her lips. Power and Kobeni, a timid-looking squad member, jump into the argument, and soon, it's a full-on clown show. Inside the hotel, the team runs into a strange devil, a head with random limbs attached. It launches at Kobeni, but freezes mid-air, giving Power the chance to slice it apart. Power immediately brags that the devil was too scared of her to move, but Himeno explains it was her power at work.
Gave up my eye for the hand of a ghost. Spooky powers at my command.
Apparently, Eye Patch Lady here made a contract with the Ghost Devil, sacrificing her right eye in exchange for the ability to control its hand. Anyway, that's not the devil they're after, so they continue searching. They reach another floor, but Hirokazu notices something weird, a blood splatter that looks identical to one they saw earlier. He checks the floor signs and realizes they haven't actually moved at all. They're stuck on the 8th floor. Even worse, when he goes downstairs, he ends up coming back from upstairs. The team has officially walked into a devil-made nightmare loop. Holy. The next episode is called Kill Denji. Aki checks a room on the 8th floor, looks out the window, and instead of seeing the city, he sees another room. It's an endless loop, basically. The squad has now realized that some pesky devil is trolling them. No matter what they try, stairs, elevators, ceilings, even windows, it all leads back to where they started. Denji blames Power for killing the devil earlier. Power lies that Denji made her do it, and Aki shuts them both down, pointing out that devils lose their powers when they die. Kobeni spirals into a panic, crying that they're all going to die and spilling her tragic backstory about being forced into devil hunting.
My older brother's the gifted one, so his education is all that matters to my parents, which is why they made me get a job. It was either become a devil hunter or a sex worker.
Power laughs at her misery because of course she does. Meanwhile, Aki notices all the clocks are frozen at 8:18, meaning time itself has stopped. No one's coming to save them. Denji, thrilled at the idea of endless naps, immediately falls asleep. Later, Aki announces some really bad news. The devil they thought was dead is still alive and growing. The team rushes out to find the hallway blocked by a grotesque mass of flesh and eyes. This is the Eternity Devil. Interestingly though, this nasty-ass blob is willing to enter a contract with the hunters. It wants Denji in exchange for letting the others go. Kobeni immediately tries to stab Denji herself, forcing Aki and Himeno to stop her. Himeno's ghost devil attacks the ugly monstrosity, but it only regenerates, revealing its heart isn't even there. This whole space is merely the Eternity Devil's stomach. The devil repeats its demand for Denji. Kobeni and Hirokazu side with the idea, but Aki refuses, knowing if the devil wants him this badly, it must be for a good reason. As the Eternity Devil swells larger from their fear, Aki considers using his cursed sword, but Himeno stops him, saying it would cost him years of his lifespan, and nobody wants that. When Kobeni and Hirokazu try to kill Denji themselves, Aki shields him and takes a knife to the side. He insists Denji has to live, because Aki can't defeat the Gun Devil alone.
If the price for that is some of my own life, I'll pay it. The point is, I'm not letting Denji die here.
Denji, annoyed that Aki risked himself for him, decides he's going to repay the favor ASAP. If the Eternity Devil wants him, fine, but he's going down fighting like hell. He yanks his chainsaw cord, dives straight down into the devil's stomach, and prepares to carve his way through eternity. The following episode is titled Taste of a Kiss. Denji starts slashing away at the Eternity Devil like a maniac, but the monster just laughs, reminding him that his heart isn't even there. Denji's chainsaws soon retract as he loses blood, but instead of giving up, he takes a big old chomp out of the devil and drinks its blood. It's gross, but that doesn't matter. That's how unhinged our MC is. Watching this lunacy unfold, Himeno remembers something Kishib once told her at a fellow hunter's grave. Devils don't fear the strong, they fear the crazy. Sane hunters hesitate, get scared, and die, but the unhinged ones, they're real nightmares for devils. Kishib even wondered if Aki is sane, but Himeno knew better. No sane person goes after the gun devil. Back in the present, Denji's genius idea is to just keep slicing the devil and drinking its blood so he'll never run out of fuel. Himeno, watching him cackle and keep swinging, starts to believe this lunatic might actually have a shot at killing the freaking gun devil himself. 3 days, yes, 3 whole days later, Denji is still hacking away. Himeno finally tells Aki that it's over, because the Eternity Devil can't take the pain anymore. It begs Denji to end it and reveals its heart.
What? You're quitting already? I was having fun splashing around this bloodbath like a kid in a pool!
Denji, somehow surprised the fight is already won, shrugs and slices it up. After getting the gun devil's flesh, they all evacuate Hotel Morin. Later, Himeno proposes a Division 4 welcome party. It's part bonding exercise, part damage control, since Kobeni and Hirokazu probably regret trying to murder Denji. Aki agrees, but only if it's soon, since Makima's heading out of town. Himeno starts piecing things together. Why is Makima suddenly sticking around Tokyo? Why does she care so much about Denji? And what secret about him does she know? We then cut to the welcome party, where the entire Division 4 squad finally gathers. Denji, of course, is laser focused on one thing, Himeno's promised kiss. She teases that she'll give it to him once she's tipsy, which is exactly the kind of motivation Denji needs to stay alive. Makima arrives and, of course, overhears the kiss talk.
Oh my god, today I am gonna get my first kiss ever.
Kiss?
Miss Makima!
Denji panics, caught between two women he's somehow gotten tangled up with. Then, the big moment. Himeno kisses Denji. He's thrilled until he realizes she's puking in his mouth. Yeah, his first kiss is literally vomit flavored, and Denji accidentally swallows it. Ew, that's brutal! Thankfully, he later vomits in the bathroom. After the party, Himeno hauls Denji home since he can't walk. He wakes up at night, dizzy and wanting water. Himeno playfully gives him some beer mouth to mouth, then starts questioning why he's even in her room. She guesses he's in love with Makima, and it annoys her that both he and Aki are hung up on the same woman. Frustrated and tipsy, she lies down next to him and, with zero hesitation, suggests they take things a step further. You know, to do the dance with no pants.
Wanna do it?
Oh boy. Given how second base and the first kiss went, this one ain't looking very promising, to be honest. The next episode is called Gunfire, and we continue from where we left off. Half teasing and half serious, Himeno suggests to Denji that they sleep together. Denji hesitates. His firsts were supposed to belong to Makima, but his first kiss already ended in vomit with Himeno. Still, he convinces himself that he's fine with it until a Chupa Chups falls from his pocket. That lollipop takes him back to earlier, when Makima comforted him after the kiss fiasco and shared it with him. She told him life is full of first tastes. The vomit might stick with him, but so would the sweetness of candy.
You just had your first indirect kiss, and it tastes like cola-flavored Chupa Chups.
Back in the present, Denji looks at the lollipop and decides he wants his first time to be with Makima, not Himeno. Himeno, too drunk to continue, falls asleep, leaving Denji to lie on the floor with the candy. Smooth save, Chupa Chups. Morning comes, and over breakfast, Himeno admits she doesn't remember much from the night before. Denji tells her plainly that he's saving himself for Makima. She laughs it off, relieved she didn't cross a line, and then makes him an offer. If he helps her with Aki, she'll help him with Makima. They shake on it, turning their awkward night into an alliance. We then cut to Makima casually riding on a train to Kyoto, except the train enters a tunnel, and the guys sitting around her whip out guns and unload on her. Just like that, Makima and her assistant are shot dead. What the hell? At the same time, Division 4 is scattered around Tokyo. Hirokazu and Kobeni get shot in the streets. Denji, Aki, Himeno, and Power are just trying to enjoy some ramen at a restaurant when a random guy starts ranting at Denji about how bad the food tastes. Denji, who's survived on moldy bread and rat scraps, doesn't see the problem. The guy then pulls out a picture of his grandpa, the same Yakuza boss who treated Denji like trash in episode 1. Turns out, this dude is the grandson, and he's got orders straight from the gun devil to bring back Denji's heart. Before anyone can react, he pulls out a gun and shoots Denji in the head. Power punches him, Aki summons the fox devil, and the guy gets eaten. Problem solved, right? Wrong. The fox devil immediately freaks out because whatever it just swallowed is not human.
Aki Hayakawa, you've put quite the abomination in my mouth this time.
Suddenly, the guy slices his way out of the fox devil's head, revealing himself as Katana Man. Basically Denji, but with swords sticking out of him instead of chainsaws. Because apparently, Copyright laws don't apply to devils. Aki goes full serious mode, pulling out his cursed sword, which is actually just a giant nail. Every stab he lands on Katana Man counts down a timer, and when it hits 0, the cursed devil appears and kills Katana Man. That victory doesn't last very long, however. A mysterious woman shows up, revives Katana Man with a touch, and orders him to finish Aki. With one slash, Aki is down. No, not him too! Himeno panics. Power refuses to help because she literally can't keep up with Katana Man's speed, so Himeno does the one thing she swore she'd never do. She sacrifices her body to the ghost devil. The full devil appears and tangles with Katana Man, and for a moment, it looks like our devil might actually win. As Himeno slowly disappears bit by bit, she thinks of Aki. Devil hunters get numbed to death, but Aki never does. He still cries for his fallen partners, and she hopes he'll cry for her too. Damn! Just when victory seems close, the mystery woman summons the snake devil, which instantly decapitates and devours the ghost devil. When Aki turns around, there's nothing left of Himeno but her clothes and eye patch. The battle has just begun, but already Division 4 has been fodderized. This whole ambush still has me shook, not gonna lie. The next episode is titled From Kyoto. Katana Man notes that power ran away during the chaos, but the mystery woman, her name is Akane by the way, reminds him that their main objective is the Chainsaw Devil's heart. But Ghost Devil isn't done yet. A stray hand crawls across the floor and yanks Denji's cord, revving him back into battle mode. Denji takes one look at Katana Man and Akane and deduces that they're the bad guys.
Love me some baddies. Can't get enough. You know why that is? No one gives a when I carve them up.
Without wasting time, he dives straight for Katana Man. The fight is loud, bloody, and chaotic. Chainsaw versus Katana. Both of them slicing up the building like it's a cheap IKEA set. Akane radios in for backup because, yeah, this is not going as smoothly as she hoped. Backup arrives, but Denji cuts them down before they can even interfere. One lucky bastard manages to shoot him, and Denji briefly takes the dude hostage, but Katana Man slices through both of them, cutting Denji and the hostage in half. Sheesh! Feeling confident, Katana Man says the rest of Division 4 should already be dead. Across Tokyo, his words ring true as we see that several hunters have already been gunned down, including Makima on her train. At the Kyoto station, 2 agents, Kurose and Tendo, are walking around nervously for Makima to arrive. They're informed about the ambush on Divisions 1 through 4, and they fear that Makima is already dead. The truly bizarre thing is, when the train reaches Kyoto, Makima walks out alive. She looks bloodied but unfazed, with her attackers all dead inside. In Kyoto, she calmly requests 30 death row convicts and a shrine at high altitude. Once prepared, she uses the convicts as sacrificial offerings in a super creepy ritual, having each convict repeat an enemy target's name before crushing Katana Man's allies from afar, literally squishing them like bugs. Each time, both the convict and the named target are killed, and this goes on until only Akane and Katana Man are left. And boy, are they scared. Interestingly, throughout this whole long-range witchcraft attack on the enemy, Kurose and Tendo have their blindfolds on so they don't see what kind of contract Makima made with the devil.
I've done everything within my power from Kyoto. I'll be returning to Tokyo now.
Truly the most terrifying ability so far. With her work done, Makima returns to Tokyo. Katana Man and Akane realize this is Makima's doing, but before they can regroup, Kobeni shows up. Remember how everyone thought she was just scared and useless for throwing Denji under the bus back at the hotel? Yeah, not today. After surviving the ambush, she launches at Katana Man and Akane with speed and precision. She then slices off the guy's arm, forcing them to retreat while she rescues Denji. Makima eventually arrives back in Tokyo and meets Madoka, one of the last survivors of the ambush. He hands in his resignation letter on the spot. Before leaving, he asks Makima how much of this attack she saw coming. Makima gives him that classic unreadable smile and says she can't talk about internal affairs with civilians. Ouch. The next episode is called Bruised and Battered. Aki wakes up in a hospital bed to find Denji and Power keeping him company. The two of them start bickering over nonsense until Aki asks them if there were any survivors in Division 4. Denji explains that Kobeni made it and that Madoka guy who quit immediately after. Later, while alone, Aki asks the Curse Devil how long he has left to live. The answer? Just 2 years. Not exactly encouraging news. He lights a cigarette, and as the flame flickers, memories of Himeno hit him like a truck. Aki, usually stoic as hell, breaks down crying. Damn, I guess Himeno got her last wish though, huh? Anyway, Denji swings back because he forgot his manga and catches Aki crying. He understands why. Aki has lost countless friends, including Himeno, but then Denji starts wondering why he himself can't cry for her. He remembers being crushed when Pochita died, and Himeno was the first person to offer him friendship, but he feels nothing. He wonders if he'd cry if Power died. Probably not. Or even if Aki died. Again, probably not. He thinks about Makima and admits maybe he'd feel sad for a few days, but then he'd move on. Denji starts questioning if he even has a human heart anymore, but being Denji, he quickly decides thinking too hard sucks and drops it. Meanwhile, Michiko and Yutaro pay Aki a visit. They introduce themselves as advisors sent by Makima, basically career coaches for devil hunters.
Don't you think it's a good time to hang up the suit and call it quits? Someone else from Squad 4 thought as much and already went private.
They tell him he's running out of options. The Fox Devil won't answer him. The Curse Devil's almost squeezed out his whole lifespan. So if he wants to keep hunting, he needs to make a contract with something more powerful. But if he decides to quit, they'd understand. Aki insists he can't quit. His family's killer, the Gun Devil, is still out there. Denji and Power, meanwhile, meet Makima at a cemetery. She tells them straight up, the enemies are after Denji, but she's too busy to train them herself. Instead, she dumps them on Himeno's old mentor, Kishibe. Before even giving his name, Kishibe tests them with 3 questions. How do they feel about their teammates' deaths?
It's whatever.
I thought, oh, they're all dead now.
Do they want revenge? Their answer is no. Which side are they on, human or devil? Denji shrugs, saying he sides with whoever takes care of him. Power, in true Power fashion, says she's on the winning side. Kishibe loves it. To him, that's the perfect kind of messed up mindset for survival. Then, training begins. Kishibe introduces himself as Division 1's strongest hunter, lover of booze, women, and killing devils. He gives them a hug and then immediately snaps their necks like breadsticks. This dude has no chill. He stabs Denji repeatedly, slits Power's throat, kills them dozens of times over, and by the time night falls, Denji is so brain-fried he's making caveman noises.
Has your feeble brain broken again? Heal, 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 heal!
Denji and Power decide to use their wits on the next training session. The next day, the two wear glasses to look smarter, because that's obviously how brain works, and they set up a trap for Kishibe. Blood spears through the door, more spears from above, Denji ambushing from the second floor. It's actually clever, for once. Kishibe dodges everything, breaks their setup, and kicks Denji across the room, knocking his smart glasses right off. Still, Kishibe admits this was their best attempt yet. Meanwhile, Aki's journey takes him deeper into the world of devils. Michiko and Yutaro escort him to a facility where captured devils are locked up. They want him to make a new contract, something powerful, but with a brutal price. They pass cells of imprisoned monsters until they stop at cell 108. Inside is the future devil. 2 people have already made contracts with it. One gave up half their lifespan, another gave up their eyes and senses of taste and smell. Basically, you don't walk away complete. Aki steps inside, ready to gamble his future for revenge. The next episode is titled Mission Start. Aki steps into the cell of the future devil and immediately gets greeted by the weirdest hype man ever.
The future rules! The future rules! The future rules!
The future devil keeps chanting, "The future rules," like a broken record. He wants Aki to chant it too, but Aki's not here for karaoke night. He cuts to the chase and asks what the contract will cost him. Instead of answering, he says he wants to take a peek at Aki's future first. Then he tells Aki to stick his head into the hole in his gut. Kind of an eerie process, to be honest. After Aki complies, the future devil laughs and says he'll live in Aki's right eye in exchange for lending him power. Pretty light terms compared to what other people had to give up. He also teases Aki that his death will be horrible, but Aki shuts him up before he can spoil the ending. Meanwhile, Kishib is busy turning Denji and Power into punching bags again. He beats them down, praises their effort, and tells them they'll now only need to train with him once a week. That's progress, apparently, but the stakes are higher than ever. They'll be doing live combat against Katana Man and Akane.
Always stay aware of your situation and know the weapons available to you. Remember that tomorrow, when you're in live combat.
If Division 4 fails, the whole squad is finished, and Denji and Power will be put down like rabid dogs. On the other side of things, Katana Man and Akane are holed up in their hideout. Akane says Makima will find them no matter where they run. She reassures Katana Man that even if he dies, she can bring him back. The rest of the goons, though, they're on their own. Katana Man explains they have his granddad's secret weapon waiting underground, a whole zombie army made of people who couldn't pay their debts. Yikes. Meanwhile, Makima pays a visit to the Yakuza boss linked to Katana Man. He claims his men attacked without his orders and blamed Akane for making deals with the Gun Devil. Makima asks what kind of deal, and he casually admits that they gave the Gun Devil 20,000 yen in exchange for guns and ammo. Makima then asks him to write down every name in his organization with ties to the Gun Devil, and while he's at it, names from other Yakuza families too. The boss thinks that's stupid, because if the other families find out, it could trigger an all-out war. Then, he gives Makima a speech about necessary evil, saying the Yakuza keeps worse foreign gangs out of Japan. Makima silently pulls out a paper bag. The boss jokes that a bribe won't change his mind until he opens it and sees the content. The bag contains the eyeballs of the Yakuza's wives, kids, parents, and everyone they love. Makima explains that she can return the eyes if the boss cooperates. One man tries to hit her, but a simple look makes his nose bleed and he drops to his knees. She tells them society doesn't need a necessary evil like them.
I'm aware of the concept of a necessary evil. I understand it's a convenient justification for your misdeeds. But society doesn't need your cheap excuses.
Brutal! Soon after, the Special Division and police surround Katana Man's hideout. Aki asks what the plan is, but Kishib tells them flat out, there is no plan. They're just storming in. Aki, Denji, Power, and Kobeni move in, while Kishib introduces the lineup of Division 4's new members. First up is Beam, the Shark Fiend, who literally swims through the floor like it's water and immediately starts chomping zombies. Next is Galgalai, the Violence Fiend, who looks terrifying but is surprisingly polite. He's so strong he has to wear a gas mask that constantly pumps out poison. Kishib warns him that it should never come off under any circumstances. Then there's Princey, the Spider Devil, who spends most of her time disguised as a human but can sprout giant spider legs when needed. She tears zombies apart like she's flipping tables. Finally, we meet the Angel Devil, who looks pretty chill but is secretly one of the deadliest of the bunch. He doesn't hate humans, but if you touch him, he drains your lifespan. Aki then takes charge, telling Denji, Power, and Kobeni to let the fiends handle the zombie mess, while they go straight for Katana Man and Akane. On the 4th floor, Aki runs into a few armed men. He dodges their attacks easily, but before he can fight, they all collapse with bloody noses, courtesy of Makima's long-distance powers. Aki presses on and finds Akane. He orders her to come quietly, but she summons the Snake Devil. But it isn't the Snake Devil that appears. We see the Ghost Devil, Himeno's old partner. Akane orders it to kill Aki. The Ghost Devil's hands swarm him, but Aki fights back using the Future Devil's ability, slicing through its arms while dodging attacks he sees coming seconds early. Even with this edge, he's overwhelmed. Imagine being attacked by your dead partner's ability. That must suck.
Keep squeezing till he's dead.
The ghost devil finally grabs him by the neck, and Akane commands it to choke him to death. Yikes. The last episode is called Katana vs. Chainsaw. While the ghost devil has Aki in a chokehold, he flashes back to a memory of Himeno. The two are eating together and she tries to get him to smoke. Aki finally gives in, but points out that she's terrible for trying to corrupt a minor. Once she realizes he's underaged, Himeno pulls the cigarette back and promises she'll save it for when he's grown and really needs it. Back in the present, the ghost devil suddenly stops squeezing and extends a hand, offering Aki that very cigarette. He sees the words "Easy Revenge" written on it and slips it into his pocket. Armed with Himeno's message, he remembers her telling him the ghost devil has no eyes, it only sees fear. Aki steadies himself, walks forward without hesitation, and slices off its head. Himeno would have been proud. Akane can't believe what just happened. She starts to summon the snake devil, but Kobeni appears out of nowhere with a knife to her throat. Before she can slit it, Aki tells her not to kill Akane, because he asks why she even stayed in public safety after all this chaos. Kobeni gives the most Kobeni answer ever. The bonus payments are coming soon.
Kobeni, why stay with the Force when you could have left?
Because our bonuses are right around the corner.
Girl's risking her life for some pocket money. Denji rides the elevator up to the 13th floor and finds Katana Man waiting with two of his men. Katana Man tries to start a civilized conversation, explaining that Denji killed his grandfather and their allies. Denji shrugs and says, yeah, because they were zombies. Katana Man insists they were still human once and asks if Denji feels guilty. Denji doesn't. Katana Man claims Denji must have lost his humanity completely. Soon enough, the two start smashing through windows and leaping across rooftops like deranged ninjas until Denji crashes onto a moving train. Katana Man follows, remarking that Denji has gotten faster. He asks what Denji is even fighting for, and Denji says simply, to protect the life he has now. The fight rages through the train until Katana Man slices off both of Denji's arms. With Denji pinned to the ground, Katana Man demands an apology for killing his grandfather. Our MC, bleeding but stubborn, says he can still fight. He's got a chainsaw on his head. Katana Man prepares to finish it, but Denji tricks him. While the bastard focused on his head, Denji had turned his legs into a chainsaw. With one swift kick, Katana Man is sliced in twain. Later, Katana Man wakes up tied to the train track with Denji and Aki standing over him. Denji points out that Katana Man will live the rest of his life in prison, but admits it doesn't feel fair. Himeno is gone, and Katana Man still gets to breathe.
I figured since he shot Himeno, we should get to take shots at him. It's only fair, yeah?
So, as a fairer punishment, Denji proposes a tournament. Both he and Aki will take turns kicking the guy in the nuts, and whoever makes him scream louder wins. At first, Aki doesn't seem on board, but then he pulls out the cigarette the ghost devil gave him, Himeno's last message. He looks at it, pockets it again, and asks Denji what he gets if he wins. Denji grins and says, naturally, the guy's balls.
What do I get if I'm the winner?
I thought his family jewels would make for a nice prize.
Katana Man begs them to stop, but it's too late. The boys start their tournament, calling it their Requiem for Himeno. Brutal, stupid, and exactly their style. Later, Makima reports that the terrorist attack was orchestrated by Akane, a former civilian devil hunter who made a deal with the gun devil. She distributed guns to the Yakuza in exchange for Chainsaw Man's heart, but before they could question her, the snake devil killed her, probably an automatic failsafe in her contract. Public safety devil hunters recover 1.4 kilograms of gun devil flesh from the hideout, which, when combined with their existing 5 kilograms, finally starts to pull toward the gun devil itself. Meanwhile, Denji dreams again of the alley with the mysterious door we saw in the very first episode. We hear Pochita's voice behind it. As always, he wants to open it, but Pochita warns him never to. The dream ends, leaving more questions than answers. And then, in a tease for what's to come, a purple-haired woman strolls toward a cafe, wondering aloud whether Denji is the kind of guy who'd rather be a country mouse or a city mouse.
If you had to choose between the country mouse and the city mouse, which would you rather be?
Interesting. Not a bad cliffhanger, to be honest. And that wraps up our anime recap. But let's be real, this story is nowhere near finished. We didn't even get a proper look at the Gun Devil yet, and that's supposed to be the big boss of this entire thing. So I'll be looking forward to Season 2 whenever it gets released. This story has been incredible so far. Hopefully, Denji manages to hold on to what little humanity he has left. Also, am I the only one who's suspicious of Makima? I mean, this woman literally rose up from the dead with no explanation. Voodoo powers, maybe? I don't know. So many questions that should be answered as the story unfolds. Well, up until next time then. Have a good day, and as usual, thanks for watching.